It's time to set up some of our GreenStalk vertical planters, and I'm going to show you two different methods to set them up and refresh them for the year, whether you're starting from seeds or transplants. Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. I was just coming out here to take some of my indoor GreenStalks outside, and I thought about, you know what, we can set up a few GreenStalks. So I'm going to show you two methods on how to refresh your GreenStalks for the season. I have quite a few GreenStalks, just a few, 13 or so. And I am in the process of starting to set them up for my outdoor garden this season. This is the first week in April, and we're in the middle of some pretty rainy weather, and the ground is so wet, I'm like swimming in my yard. But my GreenStalks are perfectly fine to start koozies and crops. I don't have to worry about them being waterlogged from the ground. So we're going to start two of my GreenStalks for the season. We're going to take care of this one that's right behind me. Ouch, that bush stuck me. We're going to do this one right here. It's already put together. Now this was originally a 7-tier leaf GreenStalk vertical planter. I'm short. 7 tiers puts it way up here above my head. So I reduced it down to, what is it, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. And I use the other tier in other places. Your leaf planter GreenStalks have 7-inch pockets, and it's good for leafy type plants, lettuce and herbs and things of that nature. And that's what's going to go in here. This was put together last year. I filled it up last year with Happy Frog and other amendments, and it's in good shape. I double checked a couple of the gray discs inside. They're in good shape, so I don't have to take this one down. So this will be one of the ones that we're going to put together today. Let me show you the other. My other GreenStalk is right here, and this is a leaf planter as well. And this one was only 5 tiers. In this particular GreenStalk, I put it together a couple of years ago, and I didn't take it apart to refresh it. So as I was looking at the little gray disc, they're all clogged up. The holes are clogged up from having multiple years of not being cleaned out. So we are going to use some clean gray watering disc inside here, and we're going to refresh the soil in this one as well. So whether you're starting from scratch or if you are refreshing your soil, there are two different ways you can refresh your soil. This one basically is take it apart and refresh, or we're going to refresh it from a completely put together GreenStalk. Those are the two that we're going to work on today. In order for your GreenStalk to water properly, it's important that those little gray watering discs are free of any clogs and debris. So you want to make sure that those are functioning properly in order for your GreenStalk to evenly water. Same thing for your top tier. You want to make sure it's nice and clean. But we are down here now, and we are going to refresh the soil. There's no reason to get rid of the soil. It has some nutrition in it, but it needs a little help. So what we're going to do is bring each and every one of these tiers back up to the top. There's a little note on here. It says fill to top. So we are going to add some of my Happy Frog soil to bring each one of these tiers back up to the full height. No need to dump it out. We are going to reuse all of this soil. In your GreenStalks, you want to use a good potting mix, or you can make your own potting mix, but it needs to be well draining. You don't want it to get compact or anything like that. That's the first step for a successful GreenStalk. And Happy Frog is my potting mix of choice. So let me finish putting potting soil into each of these and get it back up to the top, and then we'll talk about the next step. Now that the soil is back up to level, which is what we wanted, we are now going to add some fertilizer. For the fertilizer, I am using Dr. Earth. It is a granular fertilizer. It's a 463, and I'm going to add some to each tier. Just sprinkling a little bit. There are directions, right? You can measure it. I'm just going to sprinkle some into each tier, and we're going to mix it in really well. And now we're just going to mix it in. Even though my fertilizer is very low from an NP and K, single digit numbers, I'm going to give it a good toss. It's not really a good idea to put your plants, your transplants on top of fertilizer. That's not mixed up. You don't want straight fertilizer. I give my GreenStalks granular fertilizer when I set them up at the beginning of the season, and then every 14 days or so, if I remember, I like to come behind with a liquid fertilizer, which I'm using Fox Farm Grow Big at the moment. And then about halfway in the season, I will come behind again and add more granular fertilizer. Or if I am like succession planting or something like that, then I'll add more granular fertilizer at that time as well. But granular fertilizer typically is at the beginning of the season and about halfway through the season for plants that stay in place the whole time. The way to think about it is granular fertilizer is like a slow release over time. Your liquid fertilizer gives it that instant nutrition. My garden is completely underwater right now. I can't do anything out there if I wanted to. And this was the week I had planned to do lots of stuff in the garden. And I'm now focusing on GreenStalks because they're not in the garden and I can work on them and not be swimming. So anyway, we got these done. I am going to fill them at each level and then put them together. Now, some people don't like to have to put these together and stack them with plants in them. I can do it either way. It doesn't bother me one way or the other because I don't stack them 7 high because I'm short. So I try to keep it down to the height where I can manage. So in this GreenStalk, I am putting in transplants. I am going to be transplanting in Georgia collards, vats, somewhere. I got some vats. Oh, there they are. And some vats and champion collards, as well as Morris Heading collard greens. Do I have any? I don't have any. I don't have any left. It's been raining so hard, they've been drowned in their little home. And I also have some mustard, but I don't think I'm going to put mustard in here. I don't think so. I should have up-potted these, and I did not. But let's start with the Georgia collard greens that's not looking so great. So there's one Georgia collard green with all of its beautiful root system. I'm about out of Mykos, but I like to use Mykos as well to help with the root system and the soil becoming one. But it's only one little collard here, but we're gonna stick it in here anyway. Maybe it'll survive. It's been getting beat up so bad in the rain. Like the rain has completely just drenched these. There's like nothing left of them. I don't know, we might not get Georgia collards out of this, but we're gonna try. I've had them outside hardening off for a long time. And we're in the middle of a flood watch. Historic floods are happening all around us. Not specifically right here where I live, but there's a lot of water right now. There's a lot of rain and more is expected in a few hours and all weekend long. So I have to get out here when the weather allows it. I like to put about 2 collard greens in each pocket. I think it calls for 1. If you look at the recommendations, I put 2. If I have to, and I don't always have to. My favorite collard green used to be Morris Heading collard greens, but now y'all, I believe it's Champion. Champion is becoming one of my favorites. I had someone tell me that I'm gonna really like the vats as well, but we will see. So let me finish getting these collard greens in. I'll let you know how they come out, and then we will talk about setting up the next GreenStalk. But for now, let's get this one set up and I'll come back and let you know what I end up doing. So my plants are not happy. And I need to find happy plants to put in the ground here. So let's see what we can come up with. I will be back. Okay, I made my decisions. I got it together. I had enough transplants only for 2 tiers. So I got those in. And then I used seeds for these last 3 tiers. And I put in the Champion and the Vat collard greens. And Champion is my favorite. So that's why I chose to do that one. I need to update my garden planner here, my little garden journal, with when I started these outside. Oh, I could have put kale in. Oh well, too late. And this is a whole tier of nothing but collard greens, which is pretty cool. So now it's time for us to put it back together. And it's a very simple process. I almost did it without you, but I stopped. So you're going to take your first gray disc, watering disc, and you're going to line the holes up with the pocket itself. And I'm glad that I did the transplants on the bottom because they should grow in and come in first before the seeds come in. These will be the bottom 2 tiers. Let me get my gloves back on. I hate for dirt to get under my nails. Oof, that bothers me more than anything. Pet peeve of mine. The pockets are always opposite, and it usually falls right in place. I just have to make sure I'm not pinching anything. Looks good. Then I get my next watering tray. I got dirt flying, so I got to make sure they're still clean before I put them in. And then I can start stacking all of the rest of these tiers. It's worth taking that extra minute to make sure it's nice and clean. And then we put the top tier on. And this is ready to go. And everything's collards, so I can use my labels from last year. This is all ready. Now let's move over and talk about how we refresh a tower that's already put together. All right, so now we're over here to this GreenStalk that's fully put together, and it still has some of the remnants of last year's herbs and what else is over here? Lettuce and things of that nature. So we're going to clean this one up next. One of the things that I'm going to do, which I had started and stopped, is pulling out some of the dead or decomposing leaves. Now, I'm not throwing them in the trash, y'all. I'm throwing them into that green metal bed behind me because that's good. We want that to break down, and that's going to be very useful to us. But I don't want to lose it for now. I'm going to get last year's tags out for the ones I can reach. The ones I can't, they'll just be there until we take it apart. And we will worry about this top pocket later. This is where I like to put my basil. And even though we've had a really, really cold, extra frigid winter, I see some little green basil trying to grow up here. So I left these in last year, and there are little seeds that were in here that fell down into the pockets. And so I'm just interested to see how much basil am I really going to get from the seeds that the basil was growing from. So we're going to leave this as is for now. We won't touch the pot of the top tier. We will only work on these bottom 5 tiers. So the first thing we need to do, we got to get that soil level back up. And to do this, I can't use my big green scoop. It's too big. So I just got this little, you can get like a little solo cup or some kind of little container and just slowly fill each pocket back up to the line. This is how I do it indoors and outdoors if I'm not going to take the tower apart. And also, if I'm just like succession planting and I'm just going to fill one pocket, it's the same process. That one pocket might need a little bit of soil, so you can do the same thing if it's just one pocket. using a little cup like this keeps you from throwing all your soil on the ground. I am in zone 6B. I am in Southwest Ohio. My last frost date is the end of April. So the only thing that I can put outside right now are cool season crops. Crops that can take some lower temperatures, crops that can take a light frost. Those are the only things that I can put in the ground right now. You know, I could wait and just put everything in the ground in May, which you can do that, but it's just going to take you longer to get your food. And your cool season crops typically like just a light frost. It makes your crops just a little sweeter. So everything that I've been naming, that I've been putting in my GreenStalks, those are all cool season crops. Soil is in, and now we need to do the exact same thing with fertilizer. I'm not measuring, y'all. I'm just pouring a little bit in, sprinkling just a little bit on top. We're going to mix it all in just a moment. Now we're going to mix the pockets in, just like we would do even if it wasn't put together. Just mix it up just a little bit. Loosen up that soil that's been sitting there for 4 or 5 months or so or more. We get that fertilizer in there. And again, I never throw my soil away. I reuse all of my soil. I just keep refreshing it and giving it fertilizer a couple times, granular fertilizer a couple times a year, and a liquid fertilizer every 14 or so days. And that process has given me a year's supply of food. This is just the way I like to do it. Different people might have different ideas. This is just my method. And what works for some isn't going to work for all. Every climate's different. I mean, even within one city, there are microclimates. So even within one city, your climate could be slightly different. Like, for example, I always get more snow where I live than a couple of miles from here. It never fails. One way is not the only way. I should say my way is not the only way. It's just what works for me. All right, every pocket's been mixed in. Now we need to talk about what we're going to put in it. So we've already been talking about cool season crops. That's what we need to put in. So today we are going to transplant some lettuce. And I am going to also put in my parsley and my cilantro from seeds. And I will tell you those varieties here in just a moment. And that's it. Parsley, parsley. I can't talk at all, y'all. Parsley and cilantro and lettuce and maybe some kale. Let's see how many pockets I have left. Cilantro is first. We're going to do slow boat cilantro. Putting cilantro. Ooh. Now, I don't have that much cilantro, but we're going to try to get us some cilantro this year. But cilantro is going in the bottom. Cilantro does not like the heat. It is definitely a cool season crop. And look at that, y'all. I had just enough. Actually, I had enough seeds to go all the way around in the bottom pockets. Let's get the parsley in before we cover those up. For the parsley, I'm doing 2 varieties, triple curl parsley and dark green leaf flat parsley. Some of my name tags are still good to go. So for the curly parsley, I'm just going to sprinkle some in, y'all. I'm going to do 3 pockets of curly and 3 pockets of the flat. And now we need to cover these seeds up. And I am going to cover the seeds up with soil. And I choose to do it this way because a couple reasons. If I get in here and kind of smush it around, then I'm going to be putting the seeds on top of each other. And I have spreaded the seeds out nicely. At least I think they're nicely spread out. And so by me sprinkling a little light soil on top, I know the seeds are not on top of each other. And I don't have to worry about thinning them out and all that kind of good stuff. That's it for the direct sown pockets. And now we are going to transplant. And I have 18 pockets, and I don't have 18 plugs, which means that I will be able to easily throw in a little bit of kale over here. So I have name tags, I believe, for everything, I think. And if not, I got some extra name tags here that I can make some up. And you know what? I might put some seeds in here as well. I think I will. I don't want to use all of this because I need to get over to the neighbors. We might mix it up a little bit. So we're going to put some May Queen in here. I am going to split this into 2 plugs. So it's a little 6-inch plug, or 6-inch, 6 cell. This little plug here, I never up potted. So there are, wow, there's a lot of lettuce growing in here. A lot. So I am going to split this up into what we need it to be. I'm going to put 1 there. I'm going to be able to split this up into 3 different cells. And I like art, y'all, so that means something else got to go in between it. We'll put some butter crunch in between it. How many is this going to be? Three pockets. Perfect. Laid out those pockets. Let's lay out the rest of it, and then we will come back and finish it off. Oh, I definitely want this outrageous. For the outrageous, I'm going to put 1 per pocket. Here's the picture of it. What we going to put with it? We're going to put slow boat. And I got 3. Perfect. I think there's 3. And yes, these are my little babies, but you can gently pull and separate them apart so that you can split your plants up and they'll be just fine. And so those are those 2. In this tier up here, we are going to plant some seeds. Let's see what I have. What did I bring out with me? That's the question. All right, in this top 2 tiers, I'm going to do bronze minuet and dynamite. And here's the picture of it. I was out of dynamite, y'all, and I had to buy some, y'all. I had to. I didn't have a choice. It was a desperate need to buy. Dynamite is a butter crunch type lettuce. It's quite delicious. And for the bronze minuet, it has an amazing color as well. So for this row up here where I put in seeds, we're going to cover it with soil like we did the other tier where we direct sowed. Now we need to come back here and we need to get these 2 tiers in. These are transplants, so we're using Mykos. So I just put my hand in there and make a little pocket, a little bit of Mykos, and then I just lay it in there and plant it back to the depth it already was. You try to bring you in closer. Make a little divot right here in the pocket. Put in a little Mykos and plant it back to its current depth. Very easy process. So we're going to do this for all of the pockets, and I will bring you back as soon as I finish this step. Well, we got this GreenStalk put together as well. And that's it for the day. I showed you 2 different methods on how to refresh your GreenStalks, and I showed you how to start from seeds in your GreenStalks, as well as how to put transplants in. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, and I know I'm always reminding you, please hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and I know I say it all the time, but that is important for the algorithm. I am going to keep these videos coming. I will be doing a few more videos indoors in the indoor grow space as I'm winding it down, but we're going to start doing a lot more outdoors. But we're still in our cool crop season for now. So until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you hang out at Kim's Cozy Corner with me. Bye.